Gentlemen, I'm not gonna lie to you. We're in the midst of one of the most dangerous monster gill manhunts. Thank you, I made that term myself. Gill manhunts in the history of the world. It's a dangerous situation. I want each and every one of you boys to take care of yourselves first and foremost. The priorities in this case are me, your lives, the gill man for scientific research purposes, the flora and fauna, and the girl that he's kidnapped.
Sir, isn't the girl your fiance?
That's not important right now. What is important is I don't want any of you to risk your lives for the sake of this woman. Okay? One thing I learned from my extensive studies in the Navy is the importance of brotherhood, integrity, and the man next to you. So whatever you do, when you see the gill man, don't shoot him, because I don't want you to destroy the evidence. And definitely try not to hit the woman. She will serve too much as a bullet sponge. Complete waste of time and valuable resources. Again, the woman is not important. The gill man and you men are important to me. Every last one of you. Especially you. I remember you from my time in the Navy. It's a good man. Good musculature. Defined. Truly embodied service before self. Not only am I teaching you these things, trust me, from my time in the Navy, I learned something very important. Leading by example. Now, you probably all remember when the gill man first escaped due to the arrogance of the woman trying to get too close to him with our lead ball. I demonstrated perfect, proper swimming form. And let me just tell you right now, I am an excellent swimmer, and I barely escaped the grasps of the gill man. It's a good thing I was able to get up the ladder first, because let me just tell you, my sheer athleticism would have been wasted if I hadn't gone to the ladder first. That woman, she needed at least 2 people to help her up. You saw it. I'm telling you right now, the fact that she was even captured is becoming more of an inconvenience every minute of every day. I almost regret the fact that I've murdered 2 people and a dog to try to get her. Once more, I just want to reiterate here, the most important thing to me, the thing that would truly break me, is if any of you were to get hurt for the sake of the woman, or for the sake of capturing the gill man. So be sure to keep yourself safe. Shine lots of bright lights at him, and don't waste ammunition. That stuff's expensive. We've already lost 2 men tonight, and if there's one thing my time in the Navy taught me, it's the importance of manpower. Welcome back to Entertainment Rebooted and another episode of Cinema Revisited, the classic Universal monster movies, where we are watching all of the classic Universal monster movies, and we are talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the iconic of this classic horror movie franchise. Speaking about classic horrors, I am, of course, joined by my esteemed co-host, DJ. Say hi, DJ.
Hello.
All right, DJ, tonight we watch none other than 1955's Revenge of the Creature, featuring none other than the Gill Man in his second film. Before we get into good, bad, ugly, iconic, DJ, if you could please attempt to lead us in a bit of a brief plot summary for those who have not seen this movie or who have not seen this movie in a while.
So this movie picks up, I don't know, right after, but I think a year. He actually says a year after the previous film. It starts with the same boat captain from the first film, taking him out on the Amazon to find the creature. A scientist, and I think the other guy was like a hunter or like a creature guy.
He was like an animal wrangler,
yeah,
something like that. Like he was an expert in capturing animals.
Yes. And so they go out to capture the creature in order to study him. They find him and honestly, unceremoniously just take him out and take him back home pretty quick.
Well, and it's not even like unceremoniously. They run into him one time, see that he's dangerous, and decide to blow him up as if he lived in Krakatoa itself.
Yes.
And then he comes bobbing up to the surface, like just upside down like a dead fish, not moving and not breathing because he's a gill man. He breathes through his gills.
Yep.
And they decide to take him back, claiming that he's in a quote unquote comatose state. Gillman is not breathing.
Gillman is dead. He comes back to life. So they bring him to SeaWorld.
Pretty much, yeah.
They bring him to
Marine
SeaWorld.
Land or Marine World.
They put him in a tank. He kills a guy because he has to kill somebody. They chain him to the bottom of the tank, and they make him basically an attraction.
It's like a tourist attraction and a scientific observation thing.
Yep, and then they're studying him while the tourists are watching him. The scientist falls for one of the girls there. One of the scientists. She's
the only girl there.
Yes,
the only woman who has ever gotten or is almost getting a master's degree.
Yeah.
This is a very 1955 movie.
Well, the funny thing is like the movie is like very like progressive, but he is like misogynistic as all heck.
It's like
all the comments he makes. We made the joke at the beginning of
those comments were like on par with this character.
He literally
the entire time, like that. Later on, when there is that monologue of like he captured the woman, he literally is like, "Do not risk your lives, men. Do not do it. We want to capture the gill man, but we don't want to risk your lives. 2 men are already dead." But we're getting ahead of ourselves, of course. We've introduced the woman, of course. That's what's distracted us. It's derailed the science.
So the gill man kind of gets an attraction to her.
Of course.
And she has a fascination with him, but hers is like a scientific curiosity or fascination. With him, you're not sure if it's like infatuation or if he wants to breed or what it is. He's just like, he's obsessed with her.
And he was obsessed with the other woman in the first film. So
yes.
It's like a recurring thing.
Yeah. So he really wants her. And after some time of training them they try to do training with him, and they use some techniques they use on the dolphins and other animals to try to train him. Well, in one of those training incidents, he breaks free of the chain and attacks them all, and then he escapes and then causes a panic. He leaves. There's like a newspaper reel of him escaping. Then the scientist and the gal, they go out on on a boat onto a lake, and the Gillman's like following them everywhere they go, and they go into like a club, a nightclub in Mississippi, and
like Miami or Mississippi or something.
Was it Miami? It might have been. I don't remember where it was at.
I think the film takes place in Miami.
Okay, well they're in a club area, and the Gillman attacks them there and steals her away, and then he takes her away and then leaves her on the shore. And it's almost like the Gillman's trying to figure out what to do with her because she can't live in the water, he can't live in the land, so he just keeps going back and forth.
Yeah, so he's like going and leading them on a chase across the coast because it's like every 3 minutes or so he has to go back into the water, but he's not dragging her into the water with him.
Yeah.
So he is on land and they are following him.
Yeah, so a couple of guys discover he kills one of them.
He kills 2 of them.
Oh, he kills both. Oh, he kills them both.
They look at one of the corpses and they're like, "You should see the other guy, the guy who got thrown into the tree like a knuckleball." Like he literally like.
That was good. He gives that big monologue speech to like there was like 1,000 like police and other people and search party members.
Yeah, he
gives this speech about how like don't risk your lives for her. It's not worth it. It's like, okay, dude. Like, all right.
Because it is. It's literally
in all the other films, it's like, we gotta save her. We gotta save her.
I don't care about any of you. We need to get to my girl. He doesn't even call her my girl. Their fiance. This is revealed in like the newsreel. Like the radio man is literally like, "Oh, Dr. So-and-so, the fiance of the captured woman is searching for her in the Everglades," or whatever he says.
Yeah.
And literally in the thing where he's giving a monologue to all these people looking for his fiance, the love of his life, the woman who he has been fighting for this entire film, despite a love pentagon at one point. despite all this,
Just
he's
gives up on her.
Yeah, well, no, and he's just like, whatever you do, try to make sure that you don't hurt the girl. It's not my girl. It's not Helen. It's not her name. It's not my sweet sugar honey. Do not do anything to put her at risk. No, it's don't just try to get the woman from the Gill Man. And the Gill Man has a name. But not Helen. His sweet sugar bee.
It's wild. But they do find her, and then he gets her away from him, and then they shoot him, and then it ends.
Yep. And it's
very universal, unceremonious fashion, where they take out the creature and it's done.
Because they don't really know what to do with him at that point. They're like, we've chased him into the water. We got him nailed we've got him surrounded with guns. We're terrible shots, but we've managed to hit him enough to kill him. The end. But at the same time, too, it is also classic Universal, where it's like the last creature film, I think, ended identically, where you have the unmoving body of the Gill Man floating in the water.
Yes,
and that's the end.
Yes,
so it's like it's the same thing. So I think that at this point, maybe they've done it enough that they're like, we keep saying we're going to destroy the monster, and they've defeated the monster, but then it comes back later. So maybe they just kind of did it.
It's the same thing they did with Frankenstein a lot, where they do it in a way where he should be dead, but they can definitely bring him back if they want to.
Yeah, but it's a lot looser than the Frankenstein one. It's not like he's in a sulfur pit being actively destroyed. Yeah. It's like, no, we shot him a couple of times. We did that last time. He's not moving in the water. If he doesn't come back, they got him this time. If he does come back, I mean, he came back from the last time that they did this to him. Yeah. So it's like an easy out where they're not really committed to the ending.
The Mummy films too.
Oh,
the Mummy films did this too. They did that a lot. They with a lot of the later the earlier monster films, they made the deaths more definitive.
Yeah, so when they came back, it was a lot more like they had to jump through hoops in order to try to make it make sense in any way.
So as it got later on, especially with the Mummy, and now the creature films are definitely falling off the last 3 Mummy films, where they leave the ending a little more open-ended so they can use them again.
Yeah. All right, so we've kind of talked a bit about the plot a little bit, kind of divulged a couple of the little nuggets and details and things like that. So what would you say is like good about Revenge of the Creature? What makes this film like good? Is this film good?
I liked it better than the first one. The first one's problem was that the scene, the entire movie takes place along the lagoon, which is fine for a horror film. They have a setting, but the setting is boring.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a swamp. It's a black and white swamp in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any character or livelihood of its own. The most lively set piece is when the creature is attacking them on the boat, and he goes inside the boat, and you're seeing inside the boat, and the creature's in there.
Yeah.
This one, the creature gets to get out of his element. So you get this kind of feels like the Lost World Jurassic Park, where like the T-Rex is like loose in like a city. Like in Los Angeles.
It's like the Lost World.
It's where they bring the creature back home, and it gets loose in a modern, and it's a lot more interesting seeing the Gill Man in a modern environment than seeing modern people in the Gill Man's environment. If a lot more against nature happened in the first one, if there's a lot more fight against nature, the swamp would have made sense. But it doesn't matter where you fight the Gill Man if the Gill Man's your only enemy.
Yeah.
You want the backdrop works better in this one. Mm-hmm. It was really interesting watching him and it had a lot of vibes of movies that come later, Jurassic Park. It is Free Willy, where it's like this like man versus nature kind of thing, where they keep the creature in it's the creature in the circus trope. It's been done a lot. Yeah. It's been done before this. But with the creature, this would have been a very early version of that, and it's just it's a really good plot there, and like the creature feels more out of place when he's in like the marine place than he did in his lagoon.
Yeah, well, and he's also he's in this weird environment. It's a unique environment, but it helps to really show how how otherworldly he is.
Yes.
Because you're putting him in a context that's a little bit easier for us to really quantify. He's not just out in the middle of this like boring lagoon and stuff like that. And the lagoon is pretty boring. It's also his natural habitat, so you don't see him nearly as much. So him being like fully on observation and stuff like that, it does show like his strengths and his capabilities.
Yes.
And the way that he kind of thinks and stuff like that. So
it was able to showcase his intelligence a lot more. In the first one, they hint at it. In this one, you're able to see it, especially with the comparison they do to the chimps and the dolphins, which are two other trainable animals. Like, it was a very interesting to show that he was theoretically more intelligent than either. So
yeah, that's actually kind of my good, actually. So my good is that they actually took time to flesh out the gill man a little bit more. They actually took advantage of the fact that they're in a different environment. So we're actually having him being tested so that they can kind of quantify a little bit more of his intelligence, where they're like, well, he's not quite man in his intelligence, but he is smarter than a dog in his intelligence.
right.
So it's like they establish kind of like where his threshold is. And they also establish like his strengths. He's able to like pick somebody up and throw them like a knuckleball. But we also get a little bit of like his character a little bit more. In the first film, he's exposed to like a group of men with one woman, and the woman he seems to be kind of fascinated by. He seems to be very interested in her. In this one, that carries over, so it's like, okay, so it is kind of just a thing with the gill man, where it's like he sees women and he's interested and curious about them. He has more time to actually kind of develop. Is it like an unhealthy obsession? Is it a violent obsession? Is it a curiosity, or what is it? And it's interesting when he does escape the pin, actually, he attacks the men. Like, he'll attack any of the men that are in the observation and stuff like that. If they come and approach him, obviously he attacks them. But he also attacks other men who are trying to flee from him.
Yeah.
However, a little girl falls, like trips and falls, and the mom jumps on her to protect her. The gill man sees that, and he leaves them alone.
Yep.
It's almost like he never really attacks.
He's
women.
like territorial.
Yeah.
Like where he's like, the men are a threat, but the women are to be protected or to be left alone.
Yeah, and so it's like he does, he attacks women, but it's like one specific woman that he's interested in.
And he doesn't hurt her. He's very gentle with her.
That's true. Well, he picks her up and
when he goes to get her, she kind of like she like screams, and he like he doesn't like grab her and flip her up. He gently grabs her and lifts her up and then walks away with her.
Yeah, he does like just carry her.
He treats her with like
a little bit of dignity.
Yeah,
when he can, if he's not in a rush.
Yeah, he treats her with a lot more respect. Whereas the men, he just violently like just attacks.
Yeah, so it's like it's good because we get a little bit more of maybe he's not just this dumb creature. Like, that's the thing. He's not just a dumb creature. He's
animalistic, but he's
animalistic.
Not stupid.
He's not a man in intelligence, but he's also not 100% a monster. There's a little bit about him that's kind of sympathetic.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's obviously going about it wrong, and he's going about it like an animal. He's a beast. So I really thought that it was good, though, that they were able to not just kind of take it and be like, here's the monster. We can just make him kind of like the scares and the thrills and stuff like that. And we're more focused on this other little story. They have this other story going on, but they do take the time to actually be like, okay, let's flesh out the gill man a little bit more. Let's spend a little bit more time on it. Let's give him a couple of
I was going to say that
too,
too, as an additional good. The gill man gets more time in this film. In the first film, he's more of like in the first film, which I get, like, and I like the first one. He's like a force of nature in the first one. Well, and this one, he's a character. In the first one, it's almost like he represents nature's wrath against man, like they're the essence of the jungle that they're in, the environment. Well, now that he's out of his element, the gill man gets to be more focused on as a character rather than like a force of nature.
Well, and it's also more like a character than just a tension device.
Yes,
we get some of the tense moments and stuff where he's swimming under them, or he's getting close and he's starting to start grabbing at him. But they do take more time for him to be actually more of an actual character. They spend more time actually kind of teaching us about him, learning about him.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought that was really good. They could have gone fully with just like, he's a scary, creepy monster, kind of like Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Where it's like the Velociraptors, well, other than Jurassic World, where they start like having like very specific Velociraptors, but like the first 3 Jurassic Park movies, it's just like, no, the dinosaurs are not really characters. They are just monsters and antagonists.
Yep, it's just a man versus beast, man versus nature kind of thing.
Yeah,
they don't have any kind of character or uniqueness. They're just a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, whereas in this one, now they've actually started moving Gilman towards being more of a character than just a velociraptor.
Yep.
In this example. All right, how about bad? They did some good stuff. They had
the biggest bad for me is back to like some of the older, like the original. Was it it would have been the first Frankenstein, or like the Werewolf of London, where like the romance was just awful. Like where you remember we used to say about the first Frankenstein,
like,
that the wife had more, the fiance had more chemistry with the friend and her husband.
That was true for like the first 5 movies. All of the Universal movies, it was always like you had your male lead, and he was the one that was like, "I'm going to defeat Dracula. I'm going to defeat Frankenstein. I'm going to defeat the Wolfman, or I'm going to defeat my wolf nature." You know, it's like he does that, and then it's just like, but then. The woman, the female lead, the wife, the fiance, the girlfriend, always had a male best friend that she had much better chemistry with. And he was a much better character and a much nicer character.
That's how this one feels. He's like incredibly, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but like he just comes up incredibly misogynistic. And this is earlier films. The guys were not. They were all like, they cared about the women very much. They respected them. They would listen to them. In the very first film, Dracula, Hardy, he listens to the girl. She was like frantic about something, and he immediately doesn't dismiss her. He's like, "Oh, you feel this way? Okay, like how can I help? What do we need to do to fix this?" Like he was in the first film in the 1931, he was like very intentional in like listening to her, what she had to say. Like it was really well done. And then this one, he's just like a full-blown misogynist, like out of nowhere. And you're like, huh. And I there's a lot of people who say, I was like, oh, men used to all be misogynists. I'm starting to think they weren't until the 1960s when this film was made. Because before that, they were all respectful of the women. In fact, so respectful, you didn't think they had any actual feelings for them.
So, sometimes.
And this one, the 1955 Revenge of the Creature, he's like suddenly like excessive misogyny, and I was like,
well, it's also like there's no.
And he was the only one. All the other men in the show were perfectly. It was just this one guy was like, and he's the lead.
Well, and here's the other thing too. We've had plenty of other times when the female lead gets a lot of respect and a lot of credence given to her, and she has less on paper that should give that credence. This film specifically makes it a point. I'm a biologist and I'm studying fish. Like I have this whole degree and I'm getting a master's.
Yeah, she already has a bachelor's degree. She's working on her master's.
She's working on her master's thesis.
Yeah.
Like, that's what she's doing with the Gilman. It's like, so on paper, this is a respected woman of science. She's intelligent. She's smart. She's crafty. Like on paper, this man should be like, oh man, like she's a babe and she's smart.
He does treat her that way, but every time he talks about her in the separately, it comes when he's talking to her, he's very respectful of everything. But when he's talking to other people, it's like, that's just a woman. She doesn't matter. And it's like, what the heck? And it's no Universal monster movie has done that until this one. It was really jarring and weird, and it's never like on the nose. It's not like men are the only thing that matters. It's stuff like his monologue where it's just like a little bit of sneak in. You're like, what the heck?
Like there's just enough in there that you're just like,
excuse me? You go, what? Wait, what did he say? We made a lot of jokes. Now, I will say, our jokes probably took over the film a little bit. There were parts where they were doing dialogue, and we were talking over them, like, I like you, babe, but for a woman, you know?
Yeah, right. That's a... Well, no, it's like she goes forward and she's like, Don't go any farther. Don't go any farther. And then she keeps going. She's like, typical woman. Now listen to men. See what I care.
It's just so,
the Gill man attacked you. Who'd have thought?
it's so weird.
He goes up the ladder first. Like that part.
Yeah.
He literally does
He
go up the ladder.
does.
He goes up the ladder.
The Gillman attacks them both, and he swims faster. Like he pushes her out of the way to get out of the water first. And I'm like,
Which I just don't get.
oh, and when he goes to save her at the very end of the film from the Gillman, like he grabs her and moves her between him and the bullets when he's shooting at the creature. Like, what the heck? He's like, yeah, you're good as a bullet shield.
Yeah.
Because you're just a woman. It's weird.
Quick, your soft skin. It'll make a really good sponge for these bullets.
It's just, but it's never right on the nose. It's just kind of like hovering right in the air. It's like, okay, that
But
was
it's one of those
weird.
times when it's like very clearly there's a little bit of tension. It's like the actual actor may have been really misogynistic and he was letting it like creep into the he was letting it creep in a little bit, but when he's talking to the woman he's not confident enough to just like be like that to her face. So he's like letting the dialogue do the dialogue thing, and then the moment she's off screen, she's off camera, she's not on set, he's just like, let me talk about this broad.
Basically,
She got involved with the Gill man.
it's yeah. And when he's like, even though he's captured my fiance, I don't want any risk your lives. We're here. He's like really calm.
He doesn't call her the fiance.
Yeah,
This
and
woman,
all the other
girl.
all the other films, like the guy's like when the girl gets kidnapped, he's like hell bent on getting her back.
Yeah, and he's
and
like,
this one
I
he's
need
like,
to get
let's
my-
just be rash and take our time. And do you
Nobody
actually
hurt
care
herself.
about her? I'm not saying it's rash because in a lot of the other films they're rational.
Well, no,
They're rational.
but
They're
it's,
just
it's
but
passionate.
They're passionate.
They're passionate.
They're
It's
passionate.
like, the monster has my woman.
Yes.
We are going after them. I really do not care about this mob. I'm glad that you guys are here. The girl's the priority.
Well, that's
In
not
this
even
case,
necessarily
though,
true.
the
There's
mob
other
is the
ones where he's like,
priority.
let's be safe. And they in the
Well, in the first Frankenstein, he is like, let's be reasonable. Let's not like.
let's be safe, but I want to save her. But he was
Well,
like,
actually, he doesn't. He did take the girl. He did attack her. He attacked her.
yeah.
Frankenstein didn't take the woman.
No,
he
he's
her.
attacked her, but he
Yeah.
was like,
But he
was
still, like,
passionate.
the girl attacked her, and he was like, "I'm going to hunt him to the ends of the earth because he attacked my woman."
yes,
But in this one, it's like he kidnapped this girl.
that I happen to know.
Do not twist your ankles. The sand is loose, gentlemen.
Basically, it was just weird. I'm done. That was my bad. It was funny. Don't get me wrong. Like we laughed the entire time.
It's fun when
because it
you're
was
like-
fun to make
yeah.
fun of it.
dialogue
But
is
it's just really weird. It's not bad. It's weird. It never comes across as straight up like chauvinistic, misogynistic. It's just like just had a hover. It just hovers right over it, like it's ready to drop the full. At any moment, I'm waiting for him to go, women are the lesser species and they're worthless. But he never says that. He just kind of acts like he feels that way.
If it wasn't socially unacceptable and a sin, I wouldn't do it. I'm just tell her she's a means to an end.
Basically.
Like,
yeah.
oh, it's just
All right, what about you?
bad. I'm not going to say the misogyny is bad. I mean, come on, that's the iconic part. No, I'm just-
Oh, yeah, it's iconic because it's the first time misogyny was like a real thing in these films.
no. I would say the bad is the female lead's mid-Atlantic accent.
Oh yeah, that was.
I thought that was kind of a bad part because
it was all over the place.
It's all over the place. It's very clear that it's like at points it almost feels like she was dubbed. And
yes,
there's scenes because there are scenes when it's like she doesn't really have an accent, and she's just kind of
or she goes in and out of the accent.
or she goes in and out. But then there's like scenes where it's like very much so on point where she has her little bit of an accent. It's not like that's more British. I have a hard time with the mid-Atlantic because it's British mixed with upper East Coast mixed with West Virginia, like Blue Mountain accents. It's a fake accent that was taught for radio hosts, like radio play.
What has
people and
become the stereotypical American accent.
Yeah, and that was the point. It was supposed to be like this is an American person who's slightly sophisticated, but not British.
And it's how most people in cities talk all across the U.S.
Right. That's what they meant it. But it's a fake accent. Nobody actually has it. And as a result, though...
Well, they do now.
well, no, nobody really talks like this anymore. Like, the mid-Atlantic accent has a little bit of this going on.
It does, but it's like a flatter version of it now.
Yeah. Well, some people may have thought it was a real... But the point is, the mid-Atlantic accent was created. It's invented. It's not a real accent. And a lot of actors in the 30s and 50s, when radio was really a big thing, was that they were teaching them how to do this accent. It's kind of clear that this actress was being trained in one of those schools, but it may have been near the end of that schooling where it's like, when you're acting, you need to have the mid-Atlantic accent. But it's starting to move farther away from being prominent, so maybe she was uncomfortable doing it. So she only did it half the time. Or she just was really not good at the mid-Atlantic accent. See, I'm getting better now. But as a result, she had kind of that going on where it's like half the time it's on, half the time it's off. Half the time she's talking perfectly normal. Half the time it's coming out so strongly that it almost sounds like she's being dubbed.
Wow.
Like there were just scenes where it felt like she was being dubbed. So I'll just say that that's kind of the bad, because it's like, it's not ugly. It doesn't like take away from the film, but it is bad enough that, especially in the beginning, is specifically, it's like I'm having a hard time reading this character.
Yeah, and she almost drops it at the end of the film. Completely.
It's just it's the oddest little thing. It's this little quirk. It's just bad.
You could tell they didn't film this directly in order too, because there's like the first half of the film where she sounds like she's losing it. Then there's like a large chunk where she doesn't have it. Then there's like this suction where she, like, it comes back and then it's gone again. So you could tell they filmed, like, they had to film that earlier. They probably at some point were like, just drop the accent, and it just stops.
Well, and that could be a thing too. Is like maybe when they first started production of it, they were like, yeah, the Mid-Atlantic accent is like the thing. This is her first movie. She's going to do it. She's coming in strong. And then the director's just coming in. It's just like, we're kind of moving away from that. You can talk normally. There's no real need to have the Mid-Atlantic accent. Or maybe she's just, it could have been the opposite too. Maybe she wanted to do it at first, had a hard time getting into it, and then it came to her as she was practicing it later.
Maybe. It's hard to tell. It's just,
but it is so inconsistent.
Yeah.
That it's hard to get a read on the character sometimes.
Yep.
So I would say that's bad. It's not ugly. What would you say is ugly about this movie though? Like what's something that you would actually kind of warn somebody about when it came to watching The Revenge of the Creature?
The just abstract misogyny, John.
I mean, it's bad. I think we made it more of a thing because we were kind of leaning into it.
It wasn't really an ugly either. It's not. It's just weird. Off-putting. It's not like.
Well, because
it's not unusual. Drenched in like. It's not like.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know.
It feels almost foreign for a Universal movie.
Yes.
Because the Universal movies have been very much. We have our male leads. We have our female leads. They both have. They're
very fair, at least in the portrayal of the characters, and showing that people have abilities based on like who they are and stuff. There's not a lot of precognizant, and they don't show it. There's not like a man walks in and go, "Oh, you're a woman. You can't be a scientist." Like that never happens. Like in any of them, it doesn't even happen in this one. That's why I say it's just the way that the dude acts is weird.
Well, even
but I was gonna say like I wouldn't even call it an ugly. What I would actually call an ugly off of that is the ugly for me is actually not the misogyny like weirdness of it. Because I talk about that and as being the bad and like just the ugly for me is just the main lead character is just not very likable.
That's fair. Like
he's just a poor out of the
guy who helped capture
at least
the Gilman
even the worst films we watched in a lot of the series, the main leads were interesting.
Yeah.
And this one, it almost comes up like a Casablanca style like love story, but Casablanca does it better. Like it's like a half-strung love story with a monster featured in it. I actually said this when we were watching the film. It comes across less of a horror film and more of a romantic film that just has this monster that keeps intruding in it.
Yeah.
It just like intruding on their love affair, but but it does a really poor job of establishing them as real lovers. Like all of their scenes are superficial and shallow, and they don't feel like they have a real relationship. So it's like a love comedy, like dark comedy, without any of the actual love or comedy. Like it's like they just drained it of its soul. The monster's interesting. The premise is interesting. I really liked the monster moments and the creature, the fish out of water, literal, like the story progression where they did the literal fish out of water. They pulled him out of his environment and he gets out of the water and just attacks people. It's not even on the nose anymore. It's as literal as you can get and very cliched, but I enjoyed it. The movie didn't know what it wanted to be, and we've seen a couple other monster movies that did similar, where they couldn't find their like footing. The Visible Woman is one of those, where it's like, they didn't know if it wanted to be serious or comedy. If they'd have just gone full comedy, it would have worked, but they couldn't quite commit. Invisible Agent, same thing. They couldn't commit to the comedy all the way, and so it ended up being weird. This one can't quite commit to the horror or the romance, and so it ends up being neither. And you can do a romantic horror. Like they've done, most of the Universal monsters are romantic in horror. They just don't do a good job of the romantic side, but the horror at least is really good.
Well, and the frustrating part is that they had been doing so much better with the romantic leads.
Yes.
And it's like the last 10 or 15 of them that have had those romantic subplots. The leads get along to the point where it's believable. They have really good chemistry. They get along. There is not somebody in there that's like, oh, I kind of wish that she ended up with this guy as compared to the main lead. Like in this one, literally the person who has the best chemistry with the female lead is the dog.
Yes.
Like straight up, he was a good boy. He was the best boy.
Or the creature.
But, well, and the creature too actually seemed to like care. The male lead that wins the fight out of survival, like he literally was just playing like King of the Hill, you know, where it's just
the creature killed all of her other love interests.
Yeah, so. And then she's walking around. She's like, well, I mean, he's really the only guy that's like semi interesting and going to keep me on screen and relevant. I guess he's my boo. Please keep me on for the rest of the film, Mr. Director.
That's the ugly part. The bad was like the misogyny undertones and but the ugly is just the whole character. And the plot relationship movie, that whole idea of him being like the romantic lead in this, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's like trying to be 3 different films and it ends up being none of them.
Yeah.
Which we've seen before from Universal. It's just been a while. And it's kind of disappointing to see that in the later films. Like they didn't learn anything. Like they're like, hey, how can we do this worse? Okay, we got that down.
Yeah. I mean, so my ugly would be kind of like going along those lines a little bit. I would just say that like overall the plotting of this movie is very clunky.
Yeah.
Like that, like just overall, it's like we start the film with like, oh yeah, a year ago there was this discovery and we're not really believing it. It's like this whole like
it starts off really interesting.
Like, well, because it's like it's setting up from the last one where it's like, okay, it's a continuity. We're going after the same creature in the same, and we have a carryover character, we have a legacy character, but then it's like, okay, we've captured him. We're going to put them on display. We have an evolution angle. We have an intelligence angle. We have a learning angle. We have a romantic subplot angle. We have a friendship angle. We have a tension. We have a love triangle, not quite love triangle angle. We've got...
They do a lot of setup and then none of it pays off.
Exactly. And it's just like it jumps around enough that it's clunky.
The first third of the film was really good.
Yeah.
The setup, like you said, the setup with the character, the capture monster taking him back, putting him in the pen, like them trying to do the experiments of training, that was all interesting. And then the movie just falls apart after that.
Well, it's just like we do a couple of the tests and stuff like that, and it's really hard to follow if it was like conclusive or not, because they're not really sharing a lot of this. They're not really sharing a lot of the findings. What they're doing is
they're just like prodding the thing.
Well, and that's exactly it. They're just like, oh, I've got this electrical stick, and you're going to try to give him a cookie. If he tries to get the cookie, I'm going to shock him with the stick and tell him no. When he stops coming for the cookie, he's learning. It's like
it's
they were weird. Like the experiments. Also, the experiments.
They were trying to figure out the intelligence of this creature, and they use a base carrot and stick method of training that you do with a much less intelligent animal.
Yeah,
but that makes no sense. They were talking about like they were trying to intelligence. You should have started with the dolphin or the chimp, like try to have them do puzzles or like stuff like that. That was interesting. Instead, they went straight to the violence.
Well, and that's the thing is like they poke and prod him and they treat him violently and they keep him in a cage, and also it's just like they treat him as like a bit of like a tourist attraction and stuff like that, which I get. A lot of this stuff is like, oh, he's so fascinating, he's so he's so amazing, but it gets very clunky because then you start adding in like, well, the human characters outside of the tank, they're going to have like a romantic thing going on to the point where even when they like introduce on the radio that they're fiancés, you did not know that they were fiancés before. You don't even know how long they've been dating. You don't know how long they've been together. It feels like it's been like a week where they're doing like a couple of tests and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, he's learning so much faster. And then he escapes. And it's like, oh no, he's on the run.
Something other that earlier in Ross films, that speed and stop where the plot slows down really, the accordion effect. And then it speeds up really fast and then it stretches out. It speeds up really fast. Like it skips a lot of important data and then goes really slow at the parts that don't matter.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the plotting's clunky. The storytelling is clunky. It's just one of those moments where it's like it detracts enough from the film that it's like there's enough good about this film. There's enough interesting things about this film. It's a good film overall. However, it's just kind of ugly that like it's clunky, and it's probably the clunkiest Universal monster movie in like the last 3 or 4. And we're talking like Abbott and Costello are more well put together plot wise than this one is.
Yeah.
And it's like it's better put together than some of the other films. It's just becoming more apparent, and this is the ugly part of the film. It doesn't make it bad. I'm saying that it is clunky, but it's the worst part of the movie. If you're watching it, I would just warn you, hey, it's a little clunkier than the last 3 or 4 Universal movies. Otherwise,
it's also clunkier than the last Creature film. I just found it more interesting.
Yes,
it's hard to. It was sometimes when we make these comments, it makes it think like we're trashing this. film.
And that's what
it's like. No, the film is still watchable. It's just these elements stand out pretty strong.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get across. Is it's like this film, as far as like clunkiness and plot wise, it's just more on par with something kind of in the middle plot wise.
Yep.
It is a good movie overall. I enjoyed the movie overall. There's a lot that's really fun about this movie. The plot is the ugliest. It's the ugliest part of an overall fairly good movie.
Which, I mean, isn't saying much because a lot of more, or like later, like the Halloween, like all the slasher films have awful plots too, but they're still entertaining. So, you can give it fairness, but it's just weird because it's like they tried to do something and they just failed miserably.
Yeah. All right, so that's like the ugly. How about iconic? What's the thing that like makes this movie worth watching?
For me, this is the film that really, I think, gives the influence for the modern like Creature of the Black Lagoon being used in other things, like Missing Link from Aliens vs. Monsters, or
Monsters vs. Aliens.
Yeah, Monsters vs. Aliens. Fishman from I can't remember what I'm thinking of now. This is where the true inspiration really I can see coming from. The Del Toro film,
Shape of Water.
Shape of Water. That all of that more modern stuff. You can Hotel Transylvania. The fish creature from that movie.
Do they have a fish creature in? Mm-hmm. Hotel Transylvania?
Yeah.
He's not part of the main group though.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not remembering a fish creature.
No, the main group is
it's Frankenstein, Dracula, the
wolf, and
the Jello guy.
Yeah, the Jello thing. Yeah, but they had like a fish monster thing. But he looks like the Missing Link from the Gill Man. That creature. This is where like a lot of it's the first film like had that kind of there. This one you can tell this is where that came from. The Gill Man was a little better put together. The suit was better. The build was better, but also like the environment, being around people in the modern environment. This is where you can see that influence coming from.
Yeah.
Where like I said before, the literal fish out of water, like story arc of the missing link, or the Black Lagoon, or whatever else he's been called, the Gill Man, Fish Man. This I feel like is the true inspiration. Kind of like where I realized that it was some of the later Dracula or Frankenstein films that really pushed more modern things as we watched through them. The Mummy one, the later Mummy ones, is where like the 1999 Mummy came from. Not the first one. It was like the third and the fourth. Is you can tell the influences.
Yeah.
This is where those influences come from. It's from this movie. The last one, when I watched the last one, I'm like, this Gillman doesn't feel iconic to me like you would get like this to be a creature that would be used in another film. This one is.
Yeah, this one's a lot more.
He has intelligence. He has motivations. He has. You're still confused about what he's trying to do, but you understand he's got a purpose.
Yeah.
The last one, it's like, get out of my swamp, get off my lawn. This one is, okay, you brought me to your world. What can I figure out? What can I do? How can I adapt to
What
this?
do I want?
Yes.
How do I get it?
Yeah. This one feels, that's my iconic. It's the Gill Man.
Yeah. I would say that the iconic for me would be, there are a couple of shots in this movie that are very well done. I think that specifically the scene that stands out to me is when the two lovers are, they decide to go swimming. They're on the boat and they decide to go swimming.
When the boat stalls.
Yeah, so they decide to swim because they're like, oh, why not? Let's have some fun. Let's cool off. Let's have fun together. That scene is it's very well shot and it's very well put together. There's not a lot of dialogue, but what we see is they're young, they're fun, they're adventurous, they're having fun together. It's really one of those scenes where, as much as there wasn't that much chemistry between the two leads, we talked about that a little bit. As much as there wasn't that much chemistry, that scene specifically, they had amazing chemistry.
There was a lot of chemistry between them in very specific scenes, and that was the problem. They would have these scenes that like, oh, there it is, and then it would be gone for the rest of the movie.
And it was almost like, in order to really get that chemistry going, you had to have a lot of these action shots and action scenes. When they're swimming together and they're having that whole time, it's light and it's fun. And you're just like, oh, they're young. They're in the prime of life. They're in love. They're having fun. They're having a great time. And then you even have this scene where, they're like twirling down, kissing each other underwater. And that's when you see the Gill Man. And it's like when you're seeing it from the Gillman's eyes, it's like, they are literally flaunting it in my face.
Yeah.
And so you kind of feel a little bit for the Gill Man. You're like, if I'm seeing this and I'm the Gill Man, I'm going to be mad. But the other thing too is that then you get the tension because you're like, oh, the Gill Man's right there and he's watching them and they're completely so into each other. They're not paying attention to their surroundings. He's literally right there. They don't care. They're looking at each other. And then they're swimming and the Gill Man's underneath them. They're playing and they're being playful, but they don't realize there's a danger underneath that, could very easily take advantage of that situation.
That was like the best scene in the whole film.
Exactly. That scene is iconic. It is shot super well and the tension is high and the music creeps in just so. And they have this great chemistry. It's a great piece of film work. So I would say that scene specifically is iconic. The second most iconic scene is like, I'm not going to lie, that dive he takes off of the pier going after her, the passion of that, he didn't care. He was like, he took her, he's going in the water, I'm diving after him. But not only that, he dived with like flawless, like Olympian form. It was an impressive dive. Like he dived and I was just like, that man's business. Like
that was
going after
it was
him.
The stark contrast to later when he goes to the speech and he's like, don't risk yourselves, don't worry about her.
Exactly. It's like
that was what was so
he's being like purely heroic, jumping off the pier, going after his girl. He's going to swim after her, hell or high water, risk of death, doesn't matter. Flawless form too. Bonus points.
That's why I put it as a bad, is that your iconic is dead on. Like the scenes that are done well are done exceptionally well.
Yeah.
And save the movie. Because there's like 7 or 8 like solid scenes when they're doing the training and the thing. The scene and the work they're doing is really well shot. I feel what they're doing was stupid. It doesn't make any sense from a scientific perspective.
Yeah.
But the shot was seen well, and you understand their intent and what they're doing and everything. A lot of the underwater shots are done very well. Right from the very beginning, when the Gilman first attacks him and they blow him up in the water, that was shot really well. Like a lot of the underwater shots are really. It's like they spent all their time getting the underwater shots really good that they forgot that there's some land shots they have to do, and those are all just kind of there to put the movie together.
Yeah, like they're just kind of moving it along. They're just like, I guess are we in the water today? Yes, we are. Yes, guys, let's have our number one most greatest effort. And then the next day they're just like, we're in the water today, right? No.
Oh, it almost feels like I can see the pitch meeting for this where they're like, hey, boss, we shot like 7 or 8 really great underwater scenes. We just need some trivial shots to bring them together.
All right, call the actors back. We got to finish the film. We can't all be underwater.
That's kind of how it comes off.
Plot twist, the writer was the Gill Man. And he was just like, it needs to be entirely underwater. Why? Because I can only be out of water for 3 minutes. What's that, Gill? Mr. Man? Mr. Gill Man? What were you saying? Nothing. Land shots. Yay. Air.
The whole film comes across that way. Like they worked really hard to film all these awesome underwater shots and forgot there was another half of the movie they had to film around it.
Yeah.
And so they just kind of slapped it together because all the moments in the water are passionate.
Yeah.
They're all passionate. The fight underwater at the very beginning, like the Gillman attacks him and they have a intense fight in Discovery. When he jumps after her under the water, when they have that scene in the water, when they're swimming, when they're doing the training underwater, all the chemistry is underwater between all the characters. When they're on land, they're just like, hey, baby, let's go do a thing because you're a woman, I'm a man, and that's what we're supposed to do in this society.
Want to mac on each other. Are you feeling romanced? No? Well, that's because you're a woman. Back in my days of the Navy, this is how we did it. Straightforward.
Oh, glory.
It's the only thing straight about it.
Any more for your iconic there?
No, that's pretty much the iconic. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, 1955. Let's say that you're making a modern. What would you do to modernize this film, DJ?
Well, first of all, I would misunderstand it as a less of a rapey thing and think of it as a love story and plan it clearly that the Gillman and her were meant to be together and that they should be and make that my movie. And I would call it The Shape of Water.
Well done. DJ, is that short for director gear? Starts with a G, but whatever.
Oh my gosh. No, honestly, if I was going to redo this as a classic to this, I would go full bore with like the more romance horror, like ham up the romance performance, make it more clear and make it like a real like love triangle where the Gill Man really wants her, but it's still like, it's not the Phantom of the Opera approach.
Okay. Where he's like obsessed with her from a distance.
Yes. But when he gets too close, it gets kidnappy rather than, and he's like relentless.
Oh, like an unhealthy. You're talking more like the 2005 Phantom as compared to the not the 1940s,
not the one that we watched. Yeah, the more recent one where the Phantom was like obsessed with her and kidnaps her to be with her.
Okay, yeah, okay, I'm tracking now.
Yeah. He mistakes her like caring of him and learning from him. She thinks the whole time it's her dad like teaching her from beyond the grave, but it's actually he mistakes that for love. But in this case, it would be she's doing scientific research on him and she's interested and fascinated by him. He mistakes that for affection, where it's actually scientific curiosity. She actually really does love him, but she has a curiosity towards him. And she loves him as a pet, like the dog. She loves him like Chris, the dog. And he misunderstands that and takes it too far. And Yes, and then kidnaps her, and then it's more of like a Frankenstein misunderstanding. But I would do a twist with it at the end where the creature gives up. He doesn't kill. He realizes his mistake, and you give him a little bit of humanity where he's like, oh, he's intelligent enough to realize the difference between those emotions. He's way more intelligent than we realize, and you leave it up in the air like that. That's how I would do it.
Where it's not necessarily we have to kill him. Maybe the passion comes in.
Well, they can still try to kill him, but
what I mean is like maybe the woman gets in between them, like the female lead, she gets in between them, and it's just like, no, don't hurt him. It's a misunderstanding. He's gentle, like he's gentle. He's confused, something like that. Yeah. And then it's like okay.
And when the creature sees them together earlier, it's jealousy, but when he sees them together later, he understands that he doesn't love him in the same way she loves him, and he understands it and leaves on his own accord. But you can have like those horror elements where he's attacking her, and it's like it's intense and deep and like violence, and there's people who die, and then there's people who die matter. That's another thing that I would do. Doesn't have a like random stagehand number 4 that gets killed. You have it be an important side character. Well, take like the annoying girl from Thor and make her and kill her off in the 3rd film so that somebody who we know, or like the Hispanic guy from Ant-Man who does all the narrations. A beloved character that's not super important but beloved. You have him kill someone like that, and it's harder to feel for him. Mm-hmm. But because you're like, is he a creature? Is he a man? And at the end, he understands with remorse.
Well, how about this? Hear me out on this. What if Gilman kidnaps the girl? Okay, they go on a search party. They get the group together. Everybody's going after her. The dog is part of that group. Okay, the dog clearly been affectionate with the dog. She loves the dog. Best friend, pretty much. Like the dog is like her best friend. The dog goes to rescue her from the gill man, jumps on him, and the gill man kills the dog. And then she has a moment where she's like, no, like Chris, like she's holding the dog and she's tearful and like holding him and clutching onto him and stuff like that. And it mirrors an earlier scene where maybe she was trying to be comforting to the gill man. Like, let's say that he got hurt during one of the experiments where maybe the guy who's like capturing animals
that's even better.
And so she like holds him and is like, no, don't hurt him. There's no reason to hurt him. He's gentle. He took that as like, oh, she's like affectionate towards me. She loves me in the way that she loves the male lead. But in the moment that he kills the dog, he sees, oh, she cares, but not in the same way.
Right.
She cares for me like she cares for the dog. And so you have this like emotional moment where she's like,
that would be really good too, because he would almost be sad about it. Like, oh, she only sees me as an animal. And he sombers away all sad.
Well, no. And you can have a moment where we're like looking at him, and obviously like it being more modern, we can have more work with the face. We can have a moment where just for like a second, he's like, she sees me as an animal, and he's like getting mad, and he's just like I'm more than an animal. But then he just like, maybe he's gotten away a little bit. He's seeing it from a distance. He sees that, she's caring for the animal, and the guy comes in and comforts her because, the dog. And then he just like releases we see him like release his fist and just go, I am a monster. I am an animal. I try to take her and she doesn't want me. She cared about me, and she's a gentle soul.
Yep.
She did care for me and love me like an animal.
And then the sequel is The Shape of Water, where he finds the real woman for himself.
No, it's the bride of Gilman.
Bride of Gilman.
They make a Gill woman. But you see, like, I think that would be a really impactful scene where maybe you do kind of toe the line where part of the messaging is like, we care for our animals and we love our animals, but we do love humans in a different and deeper way than animals. And so Gilman being not quite a human, like not quite man level intelligence and stuff like that, it starts getting to the point where the line could technically be crossed. But where is that line?
Yeah.
What defines a man? What defines a monster?
Right.
You can also have little tie-ins with stuff like that, with man and beast and stuff like that, where you have the guy who's helping with the
Well,
experiments.
it's
but he's
man
more
versus
animalistic.
man versus self. So the gill man versus his own nature.
Yeah.
The man versus his own nature, because the way he's treating the gill man, because she helps the scientists realize that they should have treated him with more respect, but also helps the gill man understand that he needs to be. You both need to stop treating yourselves and each other like this.
And we can
You're
look
not
at-
just
yeah.
an animal, but you're also not really a man. You need to understand your nature better and
Yeah.
understand the difference between right and wrong if
Yeah.
you want to be like us.
You're
And
a
then
man. You're not a beast. We're supposed to take care of.
we're
these
supposed to be
animals.
better than him.
Yeah.
Be better than him. He doesn't know better. Hey, we will help you know better. You need to know, if you want to be a man, you need to learn to know better.
Yeah. And you can also even have a dialogue with like nature versus nurture,
Yep.
where it's like, okay, do we treat him like a beast, or do we try to nurture? Are we going to treat him just as a science experiment, a creature?
That's like the
Or are we
Tarzan
going to-
treatment. Like
Yeah,
Tarzan was
we
a
could do
man,
that.
but he was raised in the wild. So when they're trying to teach him, they're having to start from scratch as if he's an infant, because he's a full-grown man that did not learn. I mean, in what he did, I mean, in the traditional Tarzan like comic character, he did have experience with humans, but they were tribal people that were nomadic, and so he didn't have a lot of consistent education or anything of any formal of any way.
Yeah.
And so he, when the people came to talk to him from Europe, it was his first time with people that was a consistent long-term basis that he could
Actually
statically
learn.
stick to.
Yeah.
And Gilman fits that really well, because Gilman is probably the first film is probably not the first people he's seen coming through the before. There's probably been people throughout, but it's been mostly tribal people who come and go, who don't stay. But now he's in their environment, and he's forced to learn and grow in their environment. That affects it greatly. Another thing I would do too in this film is I would combine the first and second film together as one. The first half of the film would be in his territory, and then they take him back home, and the last part of the film is them in their territory.
Yeah, you could definitely do that.
Yeah, you could do that with a modern film, because both these films are like 60 minutes long. You could do like a 2.5 hour film where the first half, or even the first third, is in his environment. The next third is like in their environment, and the last part, like the first third, they're in the jungle fighting him. The second third, they're in the aquarium, and the last third is once he gets free, and it's like where it gets out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's when you get all of your major points. You're kind of hitting on
Yeah.
a lot of these different little aspects of stuff like that. But I think that this is one of those movies. Honestly, I think of all the movies that we've seen so far, I'm kind of surprised we don't get more creature films. There are very few creature films.
No, it's
Like
a character
Creature of the
gets
Black
stuffed
Lagoon.
in a lot of other things, but it's not something that gets done a lot after. Dracula and Frankenstein get done to death by multiple studios.
Well, and that's because
and keep
that's
getting
literary.
remade and keep getting remade. That's
Yeah.
true.
Because
Well, even
they're
the werewolf
literary.
films,
And-
and
yeah.
a lot of other monsters get, even the Mummy gets a lot of love, but the creature doesn't really get. I mean, he got the Shape of Water film. I think was the only one I could think of in modern times that was done.
Well, and the character in Hellboy is based off of him.
Yes,
Like there's characters.
that was the other one I was trying to think of.
Yeah,
Hellboy.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, and that's the thing is it's odd that the character Gilman is iconic enough that he is put into other people's franchises, but never as a lead. He never really has his own
Or gets his own film.
And that's the thing is like I think that honestly with like
I
how
think a part of
popular-
it is because modern times, like a Fishman thing, just isn't as scary as it was back then.
well and
Even when we're watching it,
yeah.
it's like it doesn't feel scary. It feels absurd or like out of place.
well and I kind of feel like that's more lack of creativity on the part of
that's probably
studios.
part
because
of it.
the thing
but-
is that you can really kind of make this creature unsettling because there are still parts of the world that aren't really that discovered.
that's true, but I think it just doesn't
So-
have the. I don't know. It just doesn't seem to have the same like. I guess they just feel like the Gilman fits better as a side character than a primary character.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
he's a main character in Monsters vs. Aliens. Missing link.
but
he's not the
in
lead.
an ensemble.
But he's an ensemble.
Well, it's like Hellboy. He's in an ensemble. That's what I'm getting at, though. It's like
he's on an. Yeah, he works well in an ensemble. I'm
surprised.
I think they feel like it's like giving Hawkeye his own film. It's like, he works better in an ensemble.
His TV show is good, though.
I know, but I'm not saying they can't.
But the thing,
I'm saying that people don't feel they don't.
Yeah,
they're too afraid to try it.
Which is why I'm like, I think that's more just on the studios, because it's like, honestly, like Creature of the Black Lagoon could really work in a modern audience because we have better prosthetics, we have better makeup, we have better CG, we have better technology. You could really do the character justice. So it almost feels like, and the other thing too is that there's interesting dialogue points, and with how popular movies like Planet of the Apes is, like the first Planet of the Apes movie with James Franco and it's not Tom Hiddleston, it's Tom. What's his face? The guy who plays Draco? Malfoy?
Oh, yeah.
Fenton?
I remember.
I forget his name. But in that movie, like, there's a big dialogue point of just, like, like animal testing and experimentation and stuff like that. But it's also, like, animal treatment and things like that. With how popular that kind of movie is, I'm surprised Universal wouldn't be like, we haven't done a creature movie since 1957. 1956. We haven't done a creature movie since 1956. Why don't we try making a modern movie? Like, let's make a modern monster movie. And the other, because it's like, I personally am just sick of vampires. I think that they get used way too much. They're to the point where it's no longer interesting.
They're
Frankenstein.
Easy.
Well, and Frankenstein gets one every 10 years. And it's like, okay, Frankenstein's great. It's a classic book. There's a lot of things that you can talk about, and it's an interesting philosophical question. Great gothic horror. Invisible Man, even there's some wiggle room where it's like, okay, that's kind of interesting. They made an Invisible Man movie recently where it was more of a psychological thriller as compared to, an outright horror film. Yet they don't touch the Creature of the Black Lagoon, which is one of their purely on their own creative properties, which just doesn't make sense to me, because it's like that the creature could be used. You could use him as more of a sci-fi message movie. You could use him as a terrifying creature movie. I would have been much more interested in a Creature of the Black Lagoon film than the Wolfman crap that they released earlier in 2025.
Yeah.
Because
it's I best I can tell, it's just not as well known as an individual film, so he gets ensembled all the time.
Yeah,
maybe that'll change. Who knows?
Maybe the people at Universal will stop shadow banning us and they actually start listening to our ideas.
No, it turns out they're listening to our ideas and shadow banning us.
That's why they don't want people to know that we're the ones that are coming up with the ideas, and they're just like, wait a second, that's a good point. Write that down. Write it down.
Write it down
and shadow ban it. Contact YouTube. These people, they can't have more than 61 subscribers at a time. Thus saith me, Mr. Universal.
Goodness.
Make it happen, Jepson.
Any other thoughts last?
No, I mean, like, playing off of your idea and stuff like that with modernization. You had a couple of those kind of scenes. This film could work for a modern audience. I think that a lot of this comes down to just kind of having the guts to do it.
I'm really looking forward to seeing the third one to see how they take it, because that'll be the last one. But just seeing these two, combining these two into like a modern film would be really easy to do, and it'd be really fun. And it would be very similar to like I think the problem is that movies like Jurassic Park, Lost World did it with a T-Rex, and doing it with a monster from the Black Lagoon just doesn't have the same effect unless you do it the more like thriller, psychological, romance kind of way, where it's like,
well, you could also even treat it like kind of like a slasher, like Jason Voorhees kind of thing, where it's like you have this killer kind of just like creeping up out of the water and stuff like that, where people don't know where
it would have to be done more like the films we watched more recently, like Boogeyman and some of these other ones, where the creature is almost like an abstract until it's shown. So you have like the first half of the film, the creature's barely shown, it's sneaky, and then when it is shown, you flip the movie on its head. It goes from being like a psychological horror film between them and the Fishman to a stage play of them making fun and mockery of the creature in the water park, then it's a strong juxtaposition with itself. The first half of the film is like intense and serious, and then it's joking and silly. And why were we ever afraid of this thing? It's so silly. We have complete control over it until it escapes again, and it becomes even more dangerous because then it's an intelligence. It's intelligent, and it's a killer. And like you can even have it like try to like fit in, even like make it like really trippy. Like first half really heavy horror, second half trippy, like silly, and then psychological thriller at the end where it's like the Fishman is out again and he's out for revenge.
Yeah.
That I think would give it a lot more to the story.
Yeah. I think that he's an interesting enough character that he could translate to a modern audience.
Yeah, I think so.
That's kind of the big thing. It's just
do it. Somebody do it. We could just do it ourselves.
I wish. If only. If only we could do things ourselves. Speaking of doing things yourself, you could go ahead and you can hit that like button if you liked this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think about the Revenge of the Creature? Our thoughts here and things like that. We're open to that in the comments below. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, sharing us with your friends if they like movies, if they like the Universal monster movies and stuff like that. We're getting to the point. We've almost watched all of them in this gorgeous Universal Classic Monsters complete 30 film collection Blu-ray set from Universal.
Only got 2 more left.
We only got 2 more of these films left, and then we're going to do a wrap up and we're going to talk about overarching the 30 films that we watched. So that'll be a whole lot of fun. So be sure to stick around for that. Share us with your friends if they like movies, because we watch a lot of movies on this channel. A lot of movies. But it's fun. We have fun. It's a good hobby. Anywho. Any closing thoughts from you, DJ?
Nope. That's it.
All right, then. I guess we'll see you guys in the next video.
Thanks for watching.
They were gone too soon. I wish I had known them better. Good men. Good men. Trying to capture the kill man. Probably were baited in with the woman just lying there all feminine and wide-hipped and soft-skinned. You can really tell the character of a man by the roughness of his brow. The time that he spends outside pondering life over the deep, deep waves of the ocean. That's where true character comes into play. It's something that I think every boy can really, really get to know the longer that they're alive. Women with their soft skin.
Do one about
their femininity.
Remember when they got attacked and he saved himself before her?
Oh yeah.
and then he's like ran out of the way and they're like trying to get her out and he's like, ah!